Take one. This is where it will all begin. The video blog of John Loux, live from Ukraine. John will be right here.
What?
He's checking his hair.
Oh, shut up. Don't even put that on there.
Yeah. It's easier to write it than to say it, isn't it, John?
It is. It's easy. All right, is you on?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Hey, everybody. Instead of typing my next blog, I figured I'd do a video blog. So a couple things that struck me rather funny over the last few days. Actually, the last few days, there hasn't been a whole lot that's been funny. So this is since we've gotten here. So last few days have been kind of rough, but it's getting better. So when we first got to the orphanage in Novigrad, we sat down with the deputy director of the orphanage and the doctor, and they gave us the updates just so we knew what the medical conditions of Aiden and Nastia were. Or Aiden's name is Artyom, so if you hear us call him Artyom, that's his Russian name, and we think it's pretty darn cute. But anyway, when the doctor was telling us what was wrong with him through the interpreter, sometimes in Russia they say a sentence backwards. So they said, "Do you realize that he has syndrome Down? Do you realize he has syndrome Down?" Well, I turned to Trace and I said, "Hey, Trace, he doesn't have Down syndrome. He has syndrome Down. That's just depression. I have that every once in a while. That's an easy fix. Just, pop a pill, send him to the prayer room, whatever." So anyway, but apparently it is Down syndrome, and they just flipped it around. So I've also learned that when you're speaking to Russians or trying to get them to understand you, it doesn't really help them to speak English with a Russian accent to them. Apparently, when I get in and I talk to the taxi driver, instead of saying hello, I say hello.
No joke.
Hello. Matter of fact, my conversation with our taxi driver goes like this. I open the door, I say hello. He says hello. We drive to where we're going. We stop. I hand him 10 hryvnia, which is like $1 in US. 10 hryvnia for every US dollar, basically. It's close to that. Actually, it's 8 hryvnia. It doesn't matter. It's close to that. Anyway, so I hand him my money. I say, thank you. And he says, please. Every day, it's hello, hello. Hand him the money. Thank you. Please. So, a couple of, major things that I've had to deal with. One of them, I couldn't get my flat iron to work for at least the first week. Okay, that was really rough. I mean, it wasn't rough enough that one of the kids that we came to adopt didn't want to be in the same room with us. I couldn't get my flat iron to work, so I was hitting rock bottom. But here's the thing: I figured it out. Here's the cool thing. Here's a power adapter that you get. Can you see this?
Put it in front of your shirt.
There it is, white against the black background. It's it's like 220 volt over here. Okay, US operates on 110. So on the back it tells you. Here's that alarm again. We have an alarm that goes off somewhere in our house at this time of night, and we don't know why. It just does, and then it stops. It says low settings for electric shavers, radios, curling irons. I figured a flat iron was more closer to a curling iron than like a hair dryer. I was wrong, and I should have realized this, because curling irons are for girls only. Flat irons are a weapon of rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? So you have to set for flat irons, you have to set it on high, which is 26 to 1875 watts. It ranks right up there with appliances such as hair dryers, irons, and steamers. So after a week and a half, I finally got that rocking. Jen You'll be glad to hear that. Although you keep bagging on my hair, I can't help it. The problem here is the water is so dense that my hair, it just goes flat every day, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's just the water here is horrible. I need clarifying shampoo, and I don't have clarifying shampoo. That's the other thing that has been pretty rough. To recap what I said before, if you're traveling in Eastern Europe and you bring a flat iron, let's say you're on a world tour or something like that, make sure that you have it set to high, because it will not work and you will struggle. So, some really cool products that I didn't even know really existed. The coolest thing is this Downy Wrinkle Releaser. This takes place of an iron, and if you know me or if you're related to me, I don't go... My number one concern when I'm traveling is there going to be an iron there to iron my clothes?
This is not a joke.
This is not a joke. It's a
sickness.
It's a sickness, and I'm working through it, and I'm getting better as I'm getting older, but
really.
I worry more about cosmetic stuff than I do about, like, where are we going to eat? You know, is it safe? So I'm working through this. Anyway, Downy De-Wrinkler, this is really cool. All you do is you just spray the garment and then you pull it until the wrinkle's gone. Very useful. Febreze to go is very crucial, because when you come, especially when you're adopting kids, you have to pack light. So we only could bring like 4 changes of clothes at the most. So if you're wearing stuff 3 or 4 days in a row, you can use Febreze. It neutralizes any odor whatsoever, and it's really good. Speaking of that, there's a couple things that I've had to work through. My whole childhood, and even up until like last year, I didn't wear the same jeans 2 days in a row, because when I was growing up in high school, if you wore the same jeans 2 days in a row, people noticed, and it was just weird. I've had to get used to wearing the same jeans like 3 days in a row, and so it's really stretching me.
Heaven forbid.
Heaven forbid, but I'm doing it, and I'm bearing my cross.